Military chief Valery Gerasimov confirmed the missile flew for about 15 hours, covering 14,000 kilometers during the October the 21st test. Putin hailed the weapon as unique, claiming it has an unlimited range and can evade any missile defense system. The missile, which was first unveiled in 2018, uses nuclear propulsion to extend flight time and distance. This potentially allows it to travel in continental ranges while maintaining low altitude to avoid radar detection. Let's listen in to what Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, had to say.
И вот сейчас решающие испытания завершены. Предстоит еще большая работа по тому, чтобы поставить это оружие на боевое дежурство. Это понятно, там нужно все регламенты осуществить. Но тем не менее, ключевые задачи сейчас они достигнуты.
Now we're joined by Alison Mutler. She's the former Associated Press bureau chief in Romania, and she joins us live from London. Alison, it's a pleasure to have you here on the programme to talk to you about the recent developments in the east of Europe. Alison, some worrying developments here from Russia. Of course, some announcements from Putin. What do you think NATO will be thinking at this announcement? Of course, they have named it something, they already have this capability. However, what will they be thinking now that Vladimir Putin has made this announcement?
Well, first of all, I would like NATO to comment on what Vladimir Putin said. All the information we have, which is definitely an escalation in the conflict between the West and NATO and Russia, is only coming from Moscow. It's only coming from Gerasimov, the Russian military chief, and from Vladimir Putin. You saw that Vladimir Putin, when he made the announcement, he was dressed in military clothes. That is sending a message to the world: I'm a military leader, I'm preparing for war. That is the message he's sending. So I would personally like to hear what NATO has to say about the testing of this nuclear capability. Now, if it is true, I understand NATO calls it Skyfall, the missile. And it's definitely, it is a sign that Russia is prepared to become more aggressive, feels perhaps more threatened. And I'd be interested to see NATO's response. But Russia is all about optics as well. So it's not by accident that Vladimir Putin was dressed in military clothes, that his chief military officer was speaking, that he was talking about this nuclear weapon. He wants to project the image of force, like a leading military country in the world. That is the aim of what he's doing. What is actually happening, I would be very curious, because NATO must know a lot more about this than us observers and analysts know. But it is, if true, it is a worrying development, and we are waiting for NATO's response on this news. We do know that it came out this morning, if I'm not mistaken, but it took place on the 21st, which was, I think, was Tuesday. So this is obviously something laid out. It was like it was like a theatrical production. This is when we're going to say this is what happened, and we're very serious about this. And the aim, of course, is to alarm and scare NATO members and the world that Russia is preparing for war. That is the message.
Alison, of course, this coincides at a time where Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is trying to get his hands on these Tomahawk missiles from the United States, but also at a time where Russia's envoy is in the White House and is saying that there is a diplomatic solution in the works. How do you make sense of all this?
Well, first of all, Donald Trump has said he has no more time for Vladimir Putin because the talks get nowhere. What we know about Donald Trump is he wants solutions. He doesn't like to be kept waiting in the waiting room and being made a fool of. He likes quick solutions. We saw with the Middle East, we see with other of his policies. He has realized that Vladimir Putin is not, or so far has not been serious about peace. And he's come to the conclusion there is no point in meeting him, because every time Vladimir Putin meets Donald Trump, whether it's in Alaska or somewhere else, it looks good for Vladimir Putin and it looks bad for Donald Trump. Now, the fact that the Russian envoys who have been sent to Washington are saying that diplomatic solutions are still on the table, again, it's the Russian side that we are still willing to talk. They don't want to be cut out of the picture. Donald Trump is saying, I have nothing more to say to Vladimir Putin. I've done everything I can. He slapped sanctions on Moscow with the two oil companies and their subsidiaries. And that was a sign that talks have, for the moment, have ended. But Russia cannot stomach that. They need the world to think that they are still waiting at the negotiation table, which, according to Donald Trump, they aren't. So I wouldn't believe what Russia is saying.